Hi again, Gregg of the News Tribune here at Seahawks headquarters. 14th day of training camp, a couple days before the second preseason game Sunday at Minnesota. What did we see today? Well, the Seahawks were down to 3 healthy running backs at practice, Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, who didn't do anything in the first preseason game against Denver last week. And then Xavier Turner, the guy they signed the day before that preseason game, and ended up carrying it 13 times for 42 yards and got introduced to the team after the game for the first time. That's how thin they are at running back right now. Though Scarborough has a banged up wrist and hand. CJ Prosise, who knows when he's going to get on the field again, with his 10th injury since they drafted him 3 seasons plus a training camp ago. J.D. McKissick didn't practice today. Travis Homer still not practicing because of injury for the last week or so. They may have to play Carson and Penny in Minnesota on Sunday night. The starters will play more. Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator, talked today about that. Russell Wilson and the starting offense may play a couple series, which could last through the first quarter, could last before that, depending on how long the series go. But usually that's how the Seahawks do it for the second preseason game anyway, about a quarter. Schottenheimer has had some interesting things to say. He said that Chris Carson, he wants him to get 50 targets in the pass game this season. That's more than twice he got last year. He got 24 targets, 20 catches on 24 targets. He wants to split him out wide. He wants to use him in the slide, put him in motion, not just checkdowns or screen passes. Look for a lot more of that to both Carson and Penny this coming season. At least that's the goal for the Seahawks. Schottenheimer also said these big wide receivers, they've got DK Metcalf and Jazz Ferguson, 6'4" and 6'5", do change things for Wilson and the offense. He noted how last week in the preseason game against Denver, Paxton Lynch threw to Jazz Ferguson for a touchdown when Ferguson was covered, and that a shorter receiver, the quarterback, wouldn't have thrown. That is going to be an interesting thing to watch. A risk-averse Russell Wilson normally doesn't throw it into coverage no matter who's there, and no matter how big the receiver has a size advantage on a defender. But a lot of work this training camp, specifically between Wilson and Metcalf, to make those kind of throws in coverage that Wilson's not so used and wired by nature to do. I wrote today in the News Tribune this afternoon, actually, after talking to him, about Jamar Taylor, the veteran defensive back. I've been talking on here about him. 7-year guy, turns 29 next month. I think he's been one of the best players in this camp, and nobody's talking about him. He's not been playing at all with the starting defense. He's a nickelback and a cornerback. He's made his money, as he said, $11.2 million of it, as a nickelback, mostly in Cleveland, where he got the big extension he got after the Dolphins, who drafted him in 2013 in the second round, traded him to Cleveland. He got that deal, 4-year deal, only served 2 years of it before the Browns traded him to Arizona. He's been to Cleveland, Arizona, and Denver since last May. The Seahawks signed him in the spring to a contract not guaranteed, low risk, typical veteran contract for the Seahawks. How does Taylor, who's performing well every day, knocking down passes, intercepting balls from Wilson, Paxton Lynch, Geno Smith, how is he going to fit into what is obviously a youth movement in the secondary? At nickel, for instance, Kalen Reed and Akeem King have been playing more. Ugo Amadi, the rookie draft pick from Oregon, even got first-team time in nickel today. They've all been playing more than Taylor, but from my eyes, Taylor's outperformed them all. Taylor's mostly been a nickelback this training camp. He said that he thinks the tape won't lie, and eventually his performance will win out. He said the ball finds me. He's a very self-assured, confident guy. Talking to him, he said, look, if these guys don't see it or don't have a place for me, someone in the NFL will, the way I've been playing this one. Keep an eye on number 8 in white on Sunday night in Minnesota. I think he's going to play a long time. We'll see how much time he's going to get with the starting defense. Could be, though, of course, the Seahawks know what they have in Taylor. They've got 6-7 years of NFL game film on him, 78 games. They don't know really what they have in Reed or King or Amadi. Those guys have 28 starts combined, 28 NFL games combined compared to 78 for Taylor. Of course, all this is because Justin Coleman departed in the offseason, $9 million per year as nickelback to Detroit. The Seahawks have a big hole at nickelback, yes, in a competition there, but I still think they're going to play more base defense with 3 linebackers and 4 defensive backs this season. And why wouldn't you when you got Bobby Wagner, Michael Kendricks, KJ Wright, all Super Bowl veterans, all coming back on new contracts? I think Ken Norton Jr. is actually, Pete Carroll's going to tell Ken Norton Jr. to play more base defense than they have in the past. It's usually been 70-30 the last few years, as we've talked about, nickel defense to base. I think those numbers are going to go down more like closer to 60-40 or even 55-45 because of the 3 Super Bowl linebackers the Seahawks have. All of that still means they got to find a nickel back, and it's a competition to watch into the latter part of August. All that coverage is on the newstribune.com and on Twitter at GBellSeattle. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.